Today I'm sharing how to make your first budget at any income, no matter if you have $10,000 of an income a year or $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million a year. This is going to be how you can make your first budget, how you can be successful at budgeting. I personally believe that at any income level, you should have a budget. We will be budgeting for the rest of our life. Since I started budgeting 5 years ago, our income level has grown over $100,000. That's insane. So the way that I budgeted back then and the way that I budget now, $100,000 difference is exactly the same. I use the exact same method, whether I'm making this much or this much, it works the same. It's the same process. A lot of people think that they can't start budgeting until they reach a certain level, until they get a steady job, until they stop living on an irregular income. That is simply not the case. And we're gonna break the myth that you can't budget on an irregular income. That is simply not the case. First, let's just get that out of the elephant out of the room. So budgeting on an irregular income. So to start, we're going to first define budgeting. And budgeting is not constricting. The reason why I named my channel Freedom Isn't Budget is because budgets truly give you freedom. And a budget is something that you are in control of versus your money in control of you. So it puts you in control and it makes you the decider of what happens with your money. It makes you the decider of how you're going to handle everything versus your money in control of you and you can't pay your bills. You can't go out to eat. You can't do anything. No, when you have a budget and you are able to put those things into your budget, that puts you in control. So first, we're going to get the elephant out of the room, irregular income. A lot of people think that they can't have a budget when they're on an irregular income. Some months they're bringing in $10,000 a month. Some months they're bringing in $2,000 a month. And that's a huge difference with bonuses, commission, all of that. If you're a waiter, if you're a salesperson, all of that, it can change a lot. So what I recommend for this is two things. One is to have a hills and valleys fund. So if you're having a month that you're bringing great money, you got a great bonus, you got really good tips, whatever it may be, and your income is high, have a sinking fund. Have something in a high yield savings account like CIT Bank, link down below in the description box to get it. Really great interest rates, especially now with the economy. And they're one of the highest online savings accounts that are safe, secure. They're awesome. So have a high yield savings account with money that when you do have a lower month, you can pull from that fund so that you can make it. So that if you have, a month where you're only bringing in $3,000 and it costs $4,000 to live, you can pull $1,000 from that and be okay. So when you have those high months, that's the time to save. That's not the time to go out and spend. That's not the time to splurge. That's the time to save a little bit extra for those lower months. Second, along with that is you want to have your baseline. So you need to do a spending analysis. You need to figure out what it minimum costs to live. How much it costs to pay your bills, your rent, your mortgage, your utility bills, your cell phone bills, your internet, your necessities, how much those cost. Then you're going to create your budget around that. So figure out how much it is, and then that's going to be your low. So you're going to base your income off of how much it is, your lower amount, the minimum that you would bring in a month. And then if anything above that comes in, that's just icing on the cake. That's just extra money to pay off extra debt. That's just extra money to go into savings, extra money to invest, whatever it may be. But having that base minimum for what you would bring in a month. So whatever that may be, the lowest, maybe that is just your base salary, and then any commission that you get on top of it each month, that's the above and beyond. Down below in the description, I have my personal budget template that I use. I've been using this budget template, like I said, that I've been using the same exact template to grow our income throughout the whole process. I have perfected this thing, has all the formulas. It's available in Excel and Google Sheets as well for you guys. So check that out down below in the description box. It is awesome. I love this budget template. It's so easy to use. And I also have all of my personal budget report card videos where I go line by line through a personal budget, real numbers. It gets raw in there. I have those down below in my Patreon as well. So if you do want to become a patron, you can get those updates every 2 weeks. I do a mid-month and end of the month budget update. And then with my Patreon, you get all of my templates, all my printables as well included in the monthly membership. It's like $6, super affordable, but that'll be down below in the description box. So having a budget, that is important. Having that spreadsheet that you can go and list out all of your expenses. A lot of people think that a budget is just writing down your income, writing down your expenses. No, a big part of a budget is finalizing it at the end of the month. So you want to go and make sure you finalize it. Make sure you reconcile. A lot of people don't reconcile, and that is huge. That's how you know if you went over, you went under. And I honestly recommend being in your budget every 2 to 3 days. If you go in your budget every 2 to 3 days, log into your accounts, put them into the budget, then it's going to make reconciling really easy. If you wait until the end of the month, a couple things happen. One, you could overspend and you could have gone way over budget. Your budget may be $500 a month for groceries. You already spent $600. It's over. And you're like, well, I guess I'll do better next month. But if you're in a budget every couple days, you can catch that ahead of time. You can catch that halfway through the month and be like, oh man, we need to do a pantry challenge. We need to rein it in a little bit. We need to cut back on some of these extra meats or whatever it is. And you can adjust. And then also, if you wait till the end of the month, it's going to take forever. It's going to take an hour. You're going to be cursing my name and you're going to be hating it. But if you do it every couple days, it's fast, it's easy, 5-10 minutes, you're done. When you're starting budgeting, it's really important to know how much for each category. I'll ask people how much you spend on groceries, how much you spend on eating out, how much you spend on gas, and they're like, I have no clue. A really great way to figure that out is a spending analysis. I have a spreadsheet for you guys where I go through and I have an example, and then you can go in and plug in your past 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and it has all the formulas, it does all the math for you, and then you can see on average how much you're spending each month, how much you're spending on groceries on average, how much on eating out, how much on your kids, how much on gas, all of those different categories. So that way you can be like, okay, now I know where to start, where to put my baseline, and then I can start cutting back, then I can increase this category or take away from this category or whatever it may be. But doing a spending analysis is a really great tool to figure out where you need to go, what you need to do, how to make it work best for you and your family. If you're finding this video helpful, I would love for you to hit the like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and join the Freedom in a Budget family. Don't forget to subscribe. There's so many different methods of budgeting, different strategies, all different ways of doing it. A really cool way that I've actually done a video on in the past is the 50-30-20 rule. So what this rule says is that you want 50% of your budget to be your necessities. Things like mortgage, things like rent. Piper's trying to get in the room and it scared me. Things like mortgage, rent, car insurance, all of those things, those are your necessities. So that should be 50% of your budget. Next is wants. So wants would be, extra clothes, eating out money, personal spending money, date night, all of those. Those would be wants, and that should be 30%. And then 20% is savings. So savings for sinking funds, savings for your emergency fund, savings for the future, for your kids, whatever it may be. So that's a 50-30-20 rule. What some people do is they actually flip the wants in the savings. So they'll do 30% savings, 20% wants. Or if you're pursuing FIRE, you may do 50% savings. We currently have a savings rate about 55%. And we are pursuing FIRE. We're trying to retire early. We're trying to build that wealth fast. So we're sacrificing a lot now so that we can go and have a really, really fun retirement and do a lot of fun things. So having that different type of budgeting structure works really well for a lot of people. It depends on you. It depends on what works best. Some people follow Dave Ramsey. Some people follow Susan Orson. Some people follow the FIRE movement. Whatever it is, all of those are great methods. Pick and choose what works best for you. I personally don't believe it needs to be super cut and dry. I used to be a Dave Ramsey purist. I used to be like, this is what it is, 100%. We're not veering from it. Now I'm a little bit more loose on it and more on what works best for you and your family. As long as you're sticking to something, that's what's most important. So pick a plan, choose what it is. I do have a video on the 50-30-20 rule that really breaks it down into much more detail, because I'm sure this was just fire hose. But honestly, guys, having a budget is so important. Like I said in the beginning, I really, really, really want you guys to be on a budget. Get in that habit, start winning with money, and you'll be surprised at how much when you go from not budgeting to budgeting, even if you don't have debt, even if you're investing a lot of money, how much faster you can hit those goals when you have a budget, because then you're putting more intention into it rather than, oh yeah, we'll put, maybe $1,000 a month towards our investments or whatever it is if we're really trying to pursue FIRE, really trying to build up our retirement fund. But then when you have a budget, you're like, dang, there's an extra $500 here that was just kind of floating in our checking account. We didn't realize it. Now we can put that money towards it. An extra $500 a month towards that. That's huge. That's going to help project us to hit our goals so much faster. Or an extra $500 to debt, paying off the mortgage, whatever it is. It's like, holy cow. That's what happens when you reconcile your budget. That's what happens when you're in there and you're being intentional with your money. You can hit your goals so much faster. And a great way to hitting your goals faster is having multiple streams of income, having passive income. Really get that side hustle. I was just hanging out with some friends and they were like, hey, what about this side hustle, this side hustle? And they never really thought about side hustles before. And they were just living their life, doing their day job. But more and more people are realizing now that side hustles are huge and they're a really great way to hit your goals faster. So check out the video here on how we have 7 income streams of passive income, how we're able to grow income streams. And if you want to know why I don't follow Dave Ramsey anymore, I said it. Check out this video here.